Dear friends, welcome to the last episode of the year. My name is Andrei, I'm an artist, a product designer and a watch enthusiast. And today I'm presenting you my personal watch collection. Clearly, a watch collection is a sum of thoughts, beliefs, or experiences of a single person. You can tell a lot of things about a person based on the watch he's wearing. And you can certainly affirm that you know a person if you see his watch collection. Because collecting watches is beyond clothing or other wearables. It's personal. I remember I promised myself to narrow down the collection and get it under 20 watches. A thing that didn't happen. Last time I presented 28 watches, but today we will look at 33 pieces. But the second thing, which I promised, it happened and that excites me. I succeeded to narrow down the diverse watches, coming up with some interesting 300 pieces. And to make things more interesting, for this year I rethought the way I organized the collection, and I made a distinct breakdown which makes more sense. So allow me to present my first watch, a watch to rule them all, the Gshock Rangeman. This is the spark that ignited in me the passion for wristwatches and the reason why Brave Beaters exists today. And once with this purchase, hell broke loose and from there the Gravity Master appeared, followed by the first automatic watch, a Hamilton Pilot Day-Date. Then I discovered YouTube, Seiko SKX, Mini Turtle, Hamilton Ventura 80, Certina Omega, Tudor, and the list goes on. And then for the creation selection, I'm showing you my customized Casios. The SKX mod Rings of Power, wall timers, but also the Casios Tetris models. These 4 pieces, if you've seen the videos, were basically disassembled completely, stripped down from their factory cases, then housed on premium kits from SKX mods. And then I did my magic and manually painted and customized these dials. And for sure, with these small creations, I barely scratched the surface of what I'm intending to do. But they are all part of my Grandmaster plan. And for 2023, I'm planning to attend to the School of Watchmakers to learn, understand the basic of watchmaking and servicing, but also customizing automatic watches. And this is the reason why I love this Aliexpress dress watch. The brand name is terrible, but the design with small seconds is pretty good. And I chose this dressy watch because of this, the Hangzhou 5000A movement with micro rotor, which I find it spectacular for the $200 price point. And this watch is actually well made, thin and elegant, and a good platform for some upcoming customized dials, that's for sure. The following section is called Watches You've Never Seen Reviewed on the channel. So we'll start with a huge question mark. Can something boring be exciting? Definitely yes. This Longines Marine Nationale is the living proof. And this watch received the most compliments since I bought it, not to mention the list of people subscribed to buy this watch for me. And if you don't know much about the Fab Suisse sub-label, this was the assurance that the brand was made and produced in Switzerland and not in France. So Longines kept the dial layout faithful to the original one. And has a great size, patina dial, blued hands, black lume, Hosk movement. Longines, please, more like this. And then we have another exciting piece from the underrated brand Union Glasutte called 1893 Johannes Durstein Moonface, so a German design in the collection. This is a watch that made me fall in love with it in 2 seconds. When I've seen it on the shelf next to the other pieces, I just had to have it. It is so well built, it is compact with balanced colors and details, but complicated in the same time. This is a masculine compact design with an enamel dial and blue hands, featuring a pointer date, a week, a month, 12-24 hours and a moon phase. This model is powered by a mechanical chronograph module adapted precisely to serve as a calendar watch, a movement provided by the Swatch Group and decorated in-house by the German brand, with a silicone balance spring, 60 hours power reserve and 100 meters wall resistance. Union Glasutte really makes exceptional watches for decent prices, and this piece deserves a well-made review, so I'll make that happen. And then the next piece is the Undone Aitoiva, a watch that brings design and quirkiness together. And Undone is that brand that can play around with these designs, offering them for entry-level prices. This is a watch offered on a bronze case with a faux enamel dial and a crack which unveils the skeletonized NH70 movement, and comes on a bond strap which is made from a plus 150 years old Katazome fabric, which costs around 500 euros. So this is an amount paid for an exciting piece online, which turned out to be a less exciting piece in flesh. And then we are looking at two iconic digital watches, the unusual Bulova Computron, which were launched a few years ago. I've never had the chance to experience them in flesh, so when I decided to buy one, I wasn't sure which one to get, so I bought these two versions, because the offers were very good. I have them for more than 6 months, and my problem is that I still don't know which one to keep. And then the third Bulova is the well-known vintage Accutron Astronaut. I found this watch on the pre-owned market and I bought it immediately. It was for sure an emotional purchase, as these watches are not very often found with the original JB bullet bracelet, and I wanted as well to own a tuning fork electric watch and keep it as a piece of history. And then moving towards the non-hype category, here we have watches that are not that hyped on social media. And we introduced the Edox Skydiver Neptunian. Great brand, great color and a great vacation watch. The Skydiver on a discounted price sits as well below the $1,000 mental tier and offers the characteristics of a tool diver with an increased water resistance and an extension clasp. And I think it offers a lot of watch for the money paid, especially for a bigger wrist, because this 1000 meters water resistant watch has presence. And then the Certina DS Action is the living proof that by downsizing a popular watch, you will likely to create a successful product. It's amazing how well crafted and robust is this watch with 300 meters water resistance at such small proportions. This bike was a special gift from Certina, which was born from a special relationship and hopefully a long-lasting one. So let's see what watches we will review from the brand in 2023. And then the Nevada Super Antarctic was one of my preferred watches of 2022. I wanted this model so bad, and when I asked Nevada to send me one for review, they sent me accidentally the Chronomaster Sport Air Diver. However, later on I found it on the pre-owned market and I bought it, although I was already the owner of a Rolex Explorer 1. But I still think this is a great design and different than the Explorer, so I can see them coexist in a collection. And the next underrated piece is the Siga Design Blue Planet, and the second watch awarded at Le Grand Prix de Rogeret de Genève from the collection. This is a special watch for me because I'm a designer and because I was in the same boat at the beginning of the year to create a watch brand which was supposed to challenge the limits of horology without being expensive. The concept is still there, the initiative is parked for now, but let's see. And then we are looking at the Perron Nera Rogue, the Dracula's watch, and one of my preferred designs from the collection, crafted with passion for watchmaking and offered for a great price. I loaned this watch to my friends. They were super impressed by the design and the way it sits on the wrist, so they choose to promote it on social media as well, so more people will know about this Tornek rival homage. And I gladly did this because I believe in Andy's work and I'm looking forward to see how he wants to develop this brand. And then we have the vintage and robust Certina DS2. This is in my view the living proof of the DS system, implemented in a watch that still works without servicing after more than 50 years. The watch is still waterproof and the dial is clean. Just to give you an idea of how good is this brand and how reliable is the turtle from the caseback. And then the next watch is as well an icon, the Omega Seamaster 2531 Automatic, which was worn by James Bond in 4 movies, and still a great piece and a keeper in the collection despite the sloppy polishing of the case, because I prefer to wear it in this condition and enjoy it than to have it well restored and polished and keep it in the box. I also reignited my love for this watch once with the newly launched blue Seamaster 300M with the iconic waves on the dial. Such a nice design language. And then we have two G-Shock squares, which surprise they are totally different watches than the iconic 5 models presented on the video. And for me, the square platform is new in my collection. Usually I was considering other designs, but to know the brand, you have to get to the roots and understand the core values of the square and the principles that made G-Shock a solid brand. Also, the addition of this composite bracelet makes this platform more enjoyable and fun. And there is a new world timer in the collection besides the squared one. I bought this watch recently as part of the 3 watch collection challenge. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out on the top right corner. And out of these 3 models, the vintage one and the Lora's chronograph were gifted, but this one remained because I love the versatility and the comfort offered. And I can't believe this watch costs $30. And then a bit of color and quirkiness in the collection with the Happy Watch. This double quartz with a fun design and a serious case represents a massive contradiction, which still receives compliments from the enthusiasts and non-enthusiasts. Sadly, my girlfriend rests this watch pretty often, although she has her own watches. And then moving towards an interesting selection which is called Regretted and Rebought. Maybe we can do a dedicated episode and discuss the feeling of selling a watch although we loved it, rebuying it later on because we've missed it from the collection. My number one regretted diver is the Certina DSPH 200M. I sold my first one at the beginning of my YouTube journey and I was like, this should have been on the channel. This watch convinced me to start the channel. Why? So my girlfriend, knowing this, she gifted me the DSPH 200M with the Milanese bracelet, and now even if I want, I can't sell it. My number 2 regretted watch was the Longines Spirit, which I traded previously for a Panerai and a difference of money. I was too blinded by the Italian brand and I didn't even consider that I will miss the Spirit. Luckily, the same watch returned home after 1 year, and as well, this will remain as a keeper. The design is too good and well built to not be part of a solid collection. My number 3 regretted watch was the Mido Ocean Star Tribute, which I previously owned at the beginning of my watch collecting journey. And it's interesting how, after a rich journey, especially in the diverse watches, I decided to rebuy it, concluding that this really offers the sweet spot between design language, color, size, reliability and price. And then another watch which returned home was the Hamilton Intermatic Chronograph H. I had the automatic version which I sold, the reverse Panda for review, and then on a trade I received this Patina Panda which I traded afterwards to cover the Submariner difference in price. And then it returned to my collection, which will sit as a secondary racing chronograph alongside the Monaco. Because spring will burst soon and the Corvette C3 will hit the roads and someone will need to keep the lap time counting. And then we have the almighty Seamaster 300M, another watch which returned to my collection after 2 years. When I started the YouTube journey, I sold it although I loved it to buy and ensure affordable watches for the channel, as well as I did with the Tudor Black by GMT. It's sad, but it feels like these watches know their way home, and slowly they get back to where they belong. And then we have the beautiful iconic Tag Heuer Monaco, which was revived once with the launch of the in-house Caliber 2, which transformed the iconic Bicompax Monaco on a Tricompax with a discrete small second subdial at 6 o'clock. Also, this launch equipped the Monaco with a bracelet, which hasn't been done since the late 70s, and it makes sense for the brand, for the trends, but for myself as well. This iconic square was on my shortlist for a long time because I liked a lot the previously reviewed Monaco, regretting for letting it go. And I'm super curious to know if you shared such experiences in regretting watches which you sold, buying them back after a while. It's just me or it's normal? Please let me know in the comments section. And last but not least, we have the hype watches selection, and here we have the Rolex Trio, Explorer 1, Explorer 2 and the Submariner. I made a recent video where I was asking about which one to keep in the collection because I was motivated to sell them. And I want to tell you that something unexpected happened. A lot of people wrote me describing either shared experiences or suggestions of which model to keep, but mostly the core message was to keep them, to wear them and to try to enjoy them as normal wristwatches before I decide which one doesn't really make sense to remain in the collection. So I listened to the people, and since then I'm wearing these Rolexes with confidence, trying to give them a chance, trying to enjoy them as watches, not like expensive assets that can depreciate because of the usage. So thank you very much for helping me to bypass this mental blockage. So that is it. This was my SOTC of 2022. This is a collection in a transition state. I mean, a collection will always be like a living organism. It evolves constantly. It increases or decreases based on situation, maturity or other factors. But one thing is certain, it's freaking cool to see it as a whole and optimize it based on your needs, feeling or personality. We are unique in this world, so let's have a unique but a common wristwatch journey in 2023. Happy New Year!